far so good. Really good, solid performance from UKIP and right across the country. That's the really interesting thing. You know, in big Tory areas, big Labour areas, we're scoring consistently up in the high 20%. Very pleased.
You say right across the country, but there seems to be a failure to break through in London.
London is our weakest part of England. You know, so much of politics is actually about voluntary structures. And our voluntary structure in London is behind, 12, 18 months behind where it is in some other parts of the country. Also, don't get too skewed by the London results. Most of the wards are 3-member wards, and in most of them, we've only fielded one candidate. So, yes, we're a bit behind in London, but not perhaps quite as much as the figures may suggest.
Now, many forecasters were saying you were going to get 80 seats. How many do you actually think you're going to get now?
Well, we've got that already, so we're doing all right. It looks to me, although we're going to get somewhere near double what the experts predicted. So whichever way you cut it, it's a very good night for UKIP.
Now, several Tory MPs are calling for a pact with UKIP now towards the general election. What do you say to that?
There were two conversations going on last night. One was in Westminster, going on amongst the commentariat and Tory MPs who still see politics in the old-fashioned left-right divide. The other conversation was going on in Swindon, where the Labour leader said, we've been hurt by UKIP. Another conversation was going on in Rotherham, where UKIP won 10 seats and Labour won 11 seats. In the West Midlands, the Labour Party was saying UKIP are splitting our vote and letting the Tories in. And I think this idea that the UKIP vote just hurts the Tories, I think it's going to be blown away by these results.
So no pact with the Tories then?
Well, I mean, the Tories have always viewed me and UKIP as being members of the lower orders. So I would have thought that's extremely unlikely from that perspective. But also electorally, I bet you that if we polled UKIP voters and said to them, do you want to pact with a Conservative Party, you'd find a very small percentage that would say yes.
Are UKIP now a force to be reckoned with for the general election?
If you look at how from the 92 election, Paddy Ashdown took the Lib Dems from being a tiny party in Parliament to getting up to as high as 62 seats. They did it on targeting. You can see from last night, there are bits of Essex, there are bits of Yorkshire like Rotherham. There are areas across the country where now we've got an imprint in local government and we're under the first past the post system. We are serious players. And what we will do over the course of this summer is we will choose our target constituencies and throw the kitchen sink at them.
Now, you seem to have done better in the local elections than was predicted. What do you think this means for the results for the Euro elections?
Well, I would have thought that there'd be quite a lot of people out there who would still vote for their local councillor, because he or she might have represented them for the last 20 years, but with their second vote, they may well have voted UKIP in the European election. So looking at the average vote shares across the country, and without wishing to count any chickens before they're hatched, it looks pretty good.
So it's a cock-a-hoop Nigel Farage this morning then, is it?
Yeah. My colleague Winston McKenzie said that the UKIP fox was in the Westminster hen house, and it does feel a bit like that.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you, Nigel, MPs are talking about you having a human touch, and do you think that has really resonated now with voters out there?
All I see, I see 3 front benches full of career politicians, full of people who've never had a job, no experience of the real world, and haven't been through the ups and downs of life. I've been through all the ups and downs of life, and I'm in politics with conviction, and I think a lot of people say, well, whether we agree with everything Nigel says or not, at least he means it.